Okay, hi. So now let's start our task for real. Okay, if you remember, we want, let me see. Yeah, we want something like this. So we're going to add a box here so that you can enter the username, the task username. Then we press start now. What I want to do here is I want to check whether this user exists or not. If user doesn't exist, I'm going to create his record, key value record as a JSON on Redis. So that we can add all these tasks in as a JSON object inside later on. So whenever we get to the dashboard, I will make sure that the user exists. So in order to do that, let's come back and modify our endpoint here. Okay. So we're going to first read the parameter, which is username, from the search parameter. So let me copy this. Okay. So now we take again technical request, and we're going to looking for a key called task user, because this is what I going to use. Okay. Um, and we're going to check first just to make sure that just to be safe, if somebody call this endpoint but don't give us the task user value, let's just give them back the return the response that told them that there's an error. Okay, so basically the same thing at this. So I'm just gonna copy that. So I would say task user is required, and that is a bad request. Okay, so if somebody send in the request and don't give us the task user as a search parameter, um we kick it out and say there's an error. Okay, if we can get through this if, then we can start query our Redis database. So do because we receive a tag list. Remember that we used to do redis.get before, because we simply do key value as a string. So now we're doing something a little bit more complicated. We're going to use a JSON data type, this one. So in order to do that, you access this through JSON and then dot get. Okay, when you're going to add the value as well, you're going to do redis.json and then dot redis.json.set. Okay, so we still doing get and set, but we need to call .json first. Okay, let's give it a key. So if the key exists, this will have a value. If it doesn't exist, then it will be null. So basically, I'm going to check that if we don't get the task back. As I told you before, I want to make sure that the user exists. If it not exists, we simply just add it in. Okay, this is going to be a little bit more complicated. So it will need a key. Okay, I want to pass in an empty array. Okay, and this will be passed as a JSON string and sent back by Redis client object. Um, what it need here is that it will need a path argument. Did you see path here? Did you see path parameter right here? Okay, I'm just going to keep the cursor here and you just look at the second parameter. So basically that is where in the JSON part do you want to add this in. So I'm going to say that just add this as a root. If you want to do a query on the JSON path, you need to look at Redis documentation. Okay, so basically you can query stuff. So you don't have to update the whole JSON string. So now that we add the new key to Redis database, let assign empty array to our tags. Okay, just so that when we return, it would have value. So here, so we just send the tags that we get back as a response to this endpoint. So let's test this. So I know for sure that the user O exists. So here the data we got back. If we check with this, so we have tax 1 and tax 2, that seem about right. So about if we ask someone that doesn't exist yet, so why? Okay, we get empty string. So on this side, I'm going to refresh this to see. Okay, you will see that now YY is coming up. It already created, and with an empty array with the as the value. Okay, so now that we have this, great. This will be our endpoint that we can use for query. So let's get back to our UI and add that particular text box. So it's the first front page. So it should be in this label, page.tsx under the app. Okay, so we're going to go through a few iteration of this. But first thing, let's add the text box. So let me see where's a good place. So this is wanna be simple and effective. This is before start now. So here, that will be a good thing. And also, I want to group these two together. So let me put on a div. And let me group this together. I actually need the second one. I don't need this one. Okay. So here, I'm going to change this to button later on. Okay, I'm going to change this to button later on. But let's just add the input first. Okay. We need a text box, so type would be text, and well, let's finish all this class name first. Oops, sorry. Class name. Yep, that's the one. Okay. I need with full px4. So padding, some padding on x, padding on y axis. Text large. Okay. I need border. Grade 300. I need this to be routed. Okay, I need margin bottom. And when it focus, I need some ring, 500, and I need the border on focus. Okay, so that would be the class name of our input. Let me put this on another line. This pretty look nicer. I'm going to do pretty print anyway. But let's put this in first. Okay, so that will be a text that show up when the user hasn't print anything, type anything yet. So let's satisfy with this for now and see what happened. So my server already running. So let's see. Yeah, so that's the text box we create. You type in, it doesn't happen, nothing occurring yet. Okay, because we haven't typed back to the state or anything yet. So you can just type and wait. Oh, it's just do the link. So this is still, yeah, nothing you need. That's our previous stage. Okay, so let's get back and do something real. Okay, so we need to tie this back to the value in the state. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back up here and I'm going to do a use state. Okay, it does import from me. And yeah, let's do that. And actually, I'm going to add another state right now. Because when I press the button and it is loading, I don't want the user to be able to type anything else. So I'm going to do is loading. Set is loading. Okay. And I want this to be a boolean, so I'm going to a false. So we start with false. Then if it's loaded, we're going to start this as a true. Okay, let me go back to this value. And also let me show you that we can tie the value in the text box properly. I'm going to hack it right here somehow. So here we're going to put in username. Okay. So here, I'm going to do Shift Alternate F to make things look nicer. So that's my placeholder. So next, we're going to make the change in the text box reflect in our state and make the value of the state show up in the text box. So make the value of the state show up in the text box pretty easy. You just set the value as a username. Okay, to listen to the event, going to be a little more complicated, but you should used to this by now. On change. I'm going to be a little bit lazy and not creating the function separately. So I'm going to use this fat arrow function here So basically, whatever we receive, we just call set username with e dot target dot value. Okay, so that pretty much it. Um, I'm going to do another one, which is if it is loading. If it is loading, I'm going to disable it. So if it's loading true, disable will become true. Okay, and you cannot type onto the text box. Okay, let's see how it look like right now. Oh, I need to do yeah, forget use client again. So a lot of my component is becoming client component because I'm just doing the state and the event stuff. So it would be a good idea that we refactor this later, that we just separate maybe this part into another component, so the whole thing won't become client component. But let's keep rolling from now, okay, because that's going to take some time. Okay, now I'm just hook this in just to show you that the state does change with the value that you type. Okay, so now that we have the value of the username in the state, let's work on the button. Okay, so I'm going to change this into a button. Okay, we're going to set stuff later. I'm going to keep this class name button. Let's see. I need full. So that should be inside. Should be inside. Okay. Gradient to R, 400 to 600. That's good. Text white. Routed full text slash. I think I can keep yeah, I can keep this. I can say horse fine and then start now. I'm going to add this. That when it disable to sky 400. Okay. And then I don't need the link. It's going to end with button. And let me put yeah. Well, let's put this down. Well, I will do formatting later. Okay, there. So for the button as well, I'm going to have disable. I'm going to disable it when it's loading. So let's put disable here is loading, and when it is loading, if it's loading, I'm going to have it say verifying. Else that is when it can do start now. Okay, let's see. Oh, I turned it off. So the button slightly longer now. So let's say oh, and then I click here. Nothing should happen now because now it's a button. Okay, so we're going to need to hook the event. I'm going to call this event handle start, and then we create it later. Okay, let's hook it first. It's gonna error, don't worry. And then let's create it. So since we are going to connect to the database, when we click, so this is going to be a synchronous function. Okay, so this is going to be a synchronous async. You can do a sync function. I'm using function expression right here. Okay, so in this function, I'm going to trim the username first, just in case somebody put the name, press some space and something like that. So we call dot trim on string had this function. So it's just going to strip your string of the space and white space. So let's check if it actually exists. Basically, somebody might just put a space. So after the trim, there will be no value. Okay, and when you check with the not, it will return false. Nah, it will be false just like the now value. Okay, so this is JavaScript thing. So you can use not for anything. Um, string that doesn't exist, object that doesn't exist. Okay, so basically you're gonna have to give me something to work with. Wait, I need some. Okay, and then return. If it's not blank, okay, so now we're going to set loading is to true. Okay, so here what happened at this point? So if we just do something and place, so now we cannot type anymore. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna have to take off that username as well, just to not make it very ugly, because if I don't take it out now, I'm going to forget to take it off for sure later. Okay, so now we're going to try fetching. So try, and we do cache. This is look much better that we have a sync await. If not, you're going to do, if you like, you can do that as well. So you can do fetch dot then, and yeah. So if it error, you're going to type this into the error console, and then alert. Okay, and then I'm going to set its loading to false so that you can type again. So that our unhappy path. So now our happy path, what we're going to do? Definitely fish. Okay, so this is a get method. So you basically just need the path of the endpoint. and this is how you put in the search parameter value. So basically just like what you put right here. And notice that I don't need to do localhost. Don't do localhost. Uh, so basically here we'll just start from whatever server that you are running on. So that's the root of the server that you're running on. So the key or the search parameter name is tags user equal. Okay, so now is when you build the string. I'm actually going to need the backtick. I can do plus. Well, backtick look much better. I cannot type it. I use it for um, language changing. So I would need this. Okay, and wait, where did it go? Okay, I will need trim username here. So basically, we're going to build the string plus the value that we receive from the text box. And here we're going to check if it's okay. Wait, okay, let me just do rest. I'm not sure if response is some name that actually exists, because oh okay, pretty just some intelligent stuff. If not rest dot okay. Do I need to await here? That's why it's trying to await right here, because it a promise. So I need to await when I fetch, then I can check right here. If not okay, we're just going to throw an error. Which basically going to be cache here. Then if we actually get the result back, okay, at this point I'm not care about the task list that I load right now, uh, um because I'm not showing it. I'm going to load it on the dashboard page, on the tag list page. So at this point I just what I only care is that, do I get the response back? Is this a okay response? If it okay response, that means the user exists. If not, the user doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do to make the rest of the application aware that, hey, I find the user, it exists fine, is that I'm going to put it onto our local storage, if you still remember. So I'm going to put dot set item. Okay, and this is going to be our, I'm just going to use same key. So I'm going to show that it exists. Okay, and then I'm going to kick it. Not this one, I haven't imported yet, so it doesn't like what I'm doing here, but let finish that first. Okay, so just like if you still remember the router, this is from use routers. So I'm going to create it first. Okay, from next navigation. And then I'm going to have to create the router that I was using down there. Okay, that it is. So now I have that router. The other two here, I don't use it anymore. So let me take it out. So basically what I'm redoing now here is that when the button is pressed, we just take the username and check it with Redis. If we find it on Redis, we put it into the local storage. So this line, and then we just kick it to the dashboard. Okay. Let's see if it happening as I said. So basically, let's do um let's do the username that doesn't exist yet, tyt. So let's do start now. Okay, so two things should happen here. So if I refresh this, tyt is created. That's great. Okay, and on this page, if I look at my developer tools, and application local storage, localhost. Hey, great. My task user is already here. TYT. Ignore this. This is actually from our previous task. So now that we have the username add into the local storage, then we now can start working on the task list page here and the add task page here. Okay, that's going to be the post request because we're going to modify. Well, we're going to get first, basically. We're going to have to replace this list with the thing that we retrieve from Redis. And then we're going to modify the data when we place on those button. Okay, and then we add tags. Again, we add to the JSON in Redis. I'm going to do that in the next video. Okay, just because I think this is too long already. Okay, see you in the next video. Wait, ไม่ใช่หรอ